National anthem time. The anthems played by the Royal Artillery Band. Roy Hodgson believes he made a mistake in March by resting players for the easier match in a World Cup double-header. The understudies did an excellent job, but the seniors struggled in the second game, so it is a very strong England lineup that Moldova face tonight. From the side against Scotland last month, Ashley Cole is recalled in place of Leighton Baines, Frank Lampard edges out Tom Cleverley, and Ricky Lambert plays up front because of those injuries to Wayne Rooney and Daniel Sturridge.
England should have a lot of possession, and when they do, Walker and Cole will push forward. Gerrard will drop between his centre-backs, while Lampard and Wilshere will look to combine with Lambert. In wide areas, Welbeck will make diagonal runs from outside to in, with Walcott trying to break Moldova's defensive line.
Moldova still relying on the same goalkeeper and defenders from their home game against England last September, though the right-back then, Bulgaru, is given a defensive midfield role tonight. Most of this 11 play their club football in Russia, including the one striker, Sidorenko, who has scored 3 times in Moldova's last 3 internationals.
Moldova will look to remain compact by dropping deep, but they must pose a threat to England on the counter. Therefore, Dedov from the left, Antoniuk from the right, and Inanita through the middle must give quick support to lone striker Sidorenko.
Well, these days you get a pretty full set of replacements to choose from, but only 3, of course, per side are permitted. Ukraine putting San Marino to the sword. They're 4-0 up now, but that's not of concern for Roy Hodgson at the moment. It's a good little spell for him. Being an international manager, you don't get to see the players often enough, but have these 4 games and 3 of them at home in relatively a short time, in under 6 weeks. There should be some pattern emerging. England are going to need some pattern if they are going to get the points to avoid the playoffs and get the automatic place at the head of Group H. The officials come from Slovakia. The referee is Ivan Kruzliak. Well, will Ricky Lambert be the horse for this particular course? Sensational start against Scotland, scoring with his first touch, the winning goal at that as well. And he might have had a couple more afterwards. He will hope to get chances tonight. I think he will expect to get chances tonight. What he won't get is the penalties, because he's dead-eyed with spot kicks for Southampton. But with Frank Lampard needing 1 for 30, I don't think you'd be able to prize the ball off the Chelsea man. Here we go. A crucial spell for the England national team, with questions being asked about the difficulties that England coaches and management had, lack of English players in the Premier League. All that put to one side. All these players, incidentally, are Premier League regulars in the England white shirt tonight.
First challenge coming in from Olatenko, the left back, on Theo Walcott. That's not where Theo Walcott likes to receive the ball, with his back to goal. It's much better when he's making those little diagonal runs in behind the fullback. Saw that against Scotland for his goal.
Here's Jagielka. Jagielka and Cahill have had the accolade of being mentioned by the England manager that they are the two leading contenders at centre-back. The days of Ferdinand and Terry have gone. Ionitsa, and the flag is up against Dedoff. Will play on the left-hand side.
So he's going to play wide as well. He's not going to tuck in. He's going to stay out wide and give Walker a bit of a problem.
Ball from Lambert. He'll drop it for Walcott. A corner is conceded by the left back, Olatenko.
He wanted his centre-half to come across and cover him there. Didn't happen against Scotland when Walcott got in for his goal. That's exactly what the left back was asking his left-sided centre-half to do.
Gerrard to take it, and Lambert throwing himself at it. He is very good in the air, one of his many qualities. His goal against Scotland, of course, was a header.
He had no right to win this ball. Got it just in front of the centre-half right at the last minute. Good effort from him against Armash. Sends that one over the bar, but he will be a threat when balls are played into the box, Ricky Lambert.
It's been an early goal in Poland, Stuart. It's gone to Montenegro. So it's not the best news for England, but it's a long way to go in that match, and of course this one. And Lambert trying to pick up where he left off here against the Scots. It's a clever throw. Looking for Sidorenko, who of course couldn't be offside from it. Georgiev. And Ionitsa is in the mix there in the middle, and Moldova got plenty of players forward. Here's Wilshere. On from Welbeck. Cole with a cross. Oh, and it came out very invitingly for Lambert. He went for too much power, really. But already he's shown inside the first 4 minutes his threat to the opposition.
Well, he set up the play down the left-hand side. Ashley Cole with a great forward run. 60-70 yards there as soon as England won possession back. He strikes through the back of the ball. It's a good strike from him. Just gets too much height on it. That's the technique that he's got. It's not just a burly centre forward that will win balls in the air. He was brilliant last year, catching balls on his chest, bringing others into play. And great technical quality when he was finishing.
But doing well again and again. And here is Walcott. And Kyle Walker arriving at pace. Well, it took a lot of them out in the end. But England trying to inject the tempo into proceedings right from the off.
Well, that's what I was talking about beforehand. The fullbacks will get forward as much as they can. We've already seen Ashley Cole cross the ball. Now Walker and Gerrard will just sit in between the two centre halves when they go forward to add that little bit of cover. Dedon certainly doesn't want to be running back towards his own goal. He's a attacking-minded player out on the left-hand side. Already trouble for the coach.
Jon Karas is the coach, as he has been for quite a good chunk of Moldova's independence. He was their first coach. He was the coach when England were drawn against them in the World Cup qualifiers for France '98. He's back in the job again. That's from the start of this campaign. Incidentally, Poland have quickly equalised against Montenegro. Could have already had a couple of goals in this one. Cahill. A bit of forward running there by Antoniuk. Georgiev fortunately broke his way. Here's Bulgaru, who was the right back and gave away that early penalty. Very unfortunately, the ball seemed to strike him from a Tom Cleverley shot when the sides met in Chisinau.
Well, a play from the centre forward there. Sidorenko just came short, trying to suck Jagielka in and then played a little 1-2 round him. Jagielka got too tight, committed the foul.
Running repairs for Ianitsa.
You've got to strap it on that thigh before the game begins.
I must say, it's quite a confident beginning by Moldova.
And when they've got possession at the back, Ianitsa is going into a front area to go and support Sidorenko, almost playing as the second centre forward. The two wide players are playing really high and wide. I'm not sure that's what England would have been expecting.
Purianu, who is the captain. He's the England skipper. Cahill. It's interesting that Roy Hodgson admitted that in March he made a mistake, that Roy put out a good second string side that got 8 in San Marino without reply. Those who he'd rested were sluggish in the game that really mattered away to Montenegro. So he's gone with the side, the core of which I'm sure will play on Tuesday in Kiev.
Maybe the one surprise was Lampard coming in. Cleverley has been a firm favourite of Roy Hodgson over his time as the manager.
Lampard and Gerrard together for the 53rd time. It's been sometimes marked down as a turbulent on-the-field relationship. They're good friends of it. But when there were just the two of them playing in the midfield, they didn't quite have the right balance, particularly in the days where Gerrard was a bit more adventurous than he is these days. But now they've got Jack Wilshere to try and be the glue to hold them together in that department of the team.
We're going to see that a lot. Danny Welbeck come in, Phil Cole make those forward runs down the left-hand side, and Welbeck just trying to play balls around the corner. He's done it well for Manchester United so far. Danny Welbeck playing on the left-hand side of a front three.
Good running by Georgiev. Lampard. It's a little speculative from Bulgaru.
I think he was expecting Sidorenko to make the run, but he was nowhere near that. That's what he was intimating to the centre forward.
Welbeck. A little fortunate with Lampard that he got it to Kyle Walker. Now Walcott, Lampard, and just a little understaffed down beneath us here. Bit off taking it on. Walker was given the time to get back. And of course is the risk with a real attacking threat down the flanks that probably a better team than Moldova might be able to make more of.
Certainly there was an opportunity to counter-attack from Moldova.
Sidorenko losing out to Cahill. Gerrard and Cole. Centurions, of course, in the cap stakes. Cole crossing early, and with Ricky Lambert in the middle, certainly can do a bit more of that.
I'm sure Ricky Lambert was expecting that cross to come in quite so quickly there. He hadn't made his move. Two centre-halves were in good positions. He hadn't really worked them.
Gerrard. The fact that England aren't totally bossing the group is part of the reason for the statements and the speech from the new FA chairman Greg Dyke. The other cause is failure in the summer months of the England under-21 team in the UEFA finals at that age group in Israel and the World Under-20 tournament. Didn't distinguish themselves. They might be able to do so here. Oh, and it's buried by Steven Gerrard, who gets his first England goal for over 3 years. Well, he doesn't get that far forward that often these days, and I suppose he wasn't that far forward then. But he hit it hard, low and true, and England have an early breakthrough, and it's the skipper who's provided it.
It's excellent technique. Once again, Cole and Welbeck doing well down that left-hand side. Just rode the first challenge. Lampard made the right decision just to set up Steven Gerrard. You can see he just cuts across the ball. He's trying to hit it too hard, just hits through the back of it. And goalkeeper, absolutely no chance. Damasco struck it perfectly. See it just bending from outside to in.
Well, that angle actually showed the technique to perfection. He saw what was needed to be done, he did it, and Roy Hodgson can relax a little bit more now. England certainly found in Moldova that scoring quickly was the prelude to an enjoyable evening of attacking football, and that's what the Wembley crowd are expecting now. One back by Wilshere. Of course, has missed so much with England, including the qualifying games because of injury. Given away to Walker. Lambert going to the near post. And coming in behind him was Frank Lampard, who appreciated the cutback. It's a corner.
Once again, Walker doing well, the cutback. Defenders running back towards their own goal, but it was the midfield player, Georgiev, who just got back and got the block in. Lampard thought he was going to score there. Good defending from the midfield player.
Well, we've just seen a moment of trademark Steven Gerrard, and nearly followed by typical Frank Lampard. Here comes the corner from Gerrard. Put back to Gerrard by Cole, and there's no flag, and Gerrard makes a bit of a hash of what was a free cross.
How many times do you see that? Back four starting to squeeze up, having thought they've cleared the ball. Hit straight back in, they still come up when the ball's going in behind them. Poor defending from Moldova. He may have crossed it slightly better from that area.
Yeah, he might be recalling that he made his England debut in Moldova back in 1996. Glenn Hoddle was the manager in a 3-0 win. And for all the other interest that David Beckham has commercially, he is essentially a true football man.
Well, Steven Gerrard showing the other side of the game as the holding midfield player. He has to make challenges like that. Sliding challenge, timed it to perfection.
Gerrard again. Cole. That was bordering on the reckless from Silrenko. Walker. Just seen one example of Dedoff trying to get down the left-hand side, but he's going to spend most of the match defending, I think. If he doesn't, Kyle Walker will run free.
Well, they have done quite well since the start of the game. The centre-half is just starting to read the runs of Theo Walcott. So maybe that the full-back can allow Walker to run onto him. He wants to be the attacking threat. That's twice he's been caught offside. Now he wants to run towards the opposition's goal.
It looks as though it's going to be a change. Monica is ready to come on, who has been a regular in their qualifying games, started against England in September. And it might be Ionitsa, the number 7, who was having treatment. It might have to come off. It would be pretty much like for like if that was the case. Lambert offside. Walcott.
He was a bit unlucky there because the centre-half pushed out to go to Ricky Lambert. He got in behind the full-back. Just couldn't keep himself onside. The centre-half just pushing there. Maybe should have just held his run. Ricky Lambert with a good pass to him. Just opened up his body, played it into the space.
Was very, very pleased with his goal here against Scotland. It was his first Wembley goal for England. Forward by Armash. Walker able to come forward almost at will. Fouled by Lampard. Not quite got the substitute ready as yet. Ready to come on is Alexandru Onica. He's already sporting the scars of battle. I don't think that happened in the warm-up. Welbeck. Wilshere. Cole. What Roy Hodgson will want to make sure his team keep doing is passing the ball at a good tempo. Is tempting when you get, if they get another goal relatively quickly, to take those extra touches, and not intentionally, but become a bit self-indulgent.
It's not just that, you also start to make runs towards the ball rather than making runs the other way. You've got to get in between the defenders of Moldova, in between their defensive lines, make runs in behind their back four.
So they've lost the goal and now they lose a man. Artur Ionitsa is replaced by Onica. So an early injury problem for Jon Karas.
Just changed the way they're going to line up. Onica has gone back very much as the holding midfield player. Which has allowed this man on the ball here.
Yes, Georgiev being asked to push forward a little bit more, maybe get into Steven Gerrard's territory a bit more often, looking over his shoulder at him there. Cahill. And Jagielka. All the England players have been playing for their club sides. in the early weeks of the season. It's always a bit disruptive to have an international break so early. Just the 3 rounds of Premier League football completed. Chelsea, of course, involving Cahill here, and Cole have been involved in the Super Cup. It was a terrific game, but a wrong result. They lost, of course, to Bayern Munich on penalties. Almost came for Lambert, and almost came for Wilshere, and England would get a corner.
All started because Jagielka tried to play that ball in behind for the run of Danny Welbeck, in behind the right back, Bourdieu. And trying to pick up the bits and pieces. Jack Wilshere hasn't really got involved in the game so far.
You do feel that England will have a bit of an advantage at these set plays. From Lampard, who did score with a header in Moldova, but from a free play rather than a set piece.
It's a free run for him, and then Nika just comes around the back of him. Something of the ball, but he also got something of Lampard's head. Here's the goal. And what a great strike it was. Just controlling that through the back of the ball. Good contact. You just saw the swerve on the ball. Taking it from outside the post, just out of the goalkeeper's reach.
It is extraordinary that it's been such a long time since he's gone from 19 to 20 international goals. Got 2 against Hungary, August 2010. Got England out of a jam that night. There goes Ashley Cole, who's still looking to be a goal scorer for England at all. Coriano across to tidy up.
That movement again. Welbeck coming short, just dragging the full-back in, allowing Ashley Cole to make the overlapping run. Well seen by the centre-half on that occasion.
Lovely ball by Cahill. Just asked a little too much of Cole. That would have been, I guess, the hardest selection to make maybe for Roy Hodgson. Leighton Baines doing very well, and Ashley Cole, the senior man in terms of years and experience, but really being pushed by Baines.
And also a game where you expected England to have a lot of possession as well, because Baines is a fantastic crosser of the ball, as we know. He will get forward. There's been question marks over his defending against the very best players and the very best teams positionally in 1v1 situations, but I'm not sure he's going to be tested tonight.
Monica and Bulgaria losing out. It's been a great start to the season for Steven Gerrard with his club Liverpool. Top of the league. Played 3-1-3, all 1-0. All goals from Daniel Sturridge, who he'd have loved to have had out here with an England shirt as well, and that might happen on Tuesday. Armash trying to be a little expansive with the pass. Halfway through the first half.
Well, certainly settled England down. It's just knocked the confidence out of Moldova, who started the game quite brightly, putting the ball into their front player and trying to play off of him and out wide.
Cahill. Been very hot this week in the south of England, but some rain arrived today. Joe Hart, who's not been at his very best by his own admission, and had a bad moment at that end of Wembley when James Morrison scored for Scotland.
There's a good bit of play from Joe Hart. He had a 2v1 down this near side with Walker pushing on and Walcott up against the fullback. Matenko.
Making the run through the middle, Wilshere making the run at Moldova, and still going, beaten away by Namashko. Probably a failing of Jack Wilshere's game, for all the rippling promise that he has, that he doesn't score enough goals.
He does inject a bit of pace when he's running with the ball. Good run from Theo Walcott, just took 1 or 2 defenders that way, and then he got at the left back to Jack Wilshere.
It's another Gerrard corner. Dead off heads it out. The full-backs had stayed back.
Jack Wilshere is very much like Paul Gascoigne was. He's not got great pace when he's running off the ball, but when he's running with the ball, he drifts past players, he accelerates, he changes pace quickly. He does inject a bit of pace into the movements.
Walcott's attempt at getting pace into that, stopped by Kolofutenko.
They're telling off. He's the left back. So is Walcott for his prestations.
Gerrard's sizing up the options again. And towards Lambert. Walcott, quite deliberate for England. Oh, and the goalkeeper made rather a meal of that. Back in by Walker. Gerrard. Goalkeeper comes again and it's taken from him by his defender. And there's wacky races back there from Moldova, and the goalkeeper again. But it's led to Ricky Lambert following it in. Played two, scored two.
Well, I was just about to say, there's been a lot of crosses come into the box, and actually Frank Lampard has been taking his space. Frank Lampard's making runs through the middle. It means Lambert's had to go round the back, but on that occasion it all worked nicely for him. It wasn't a cross from Theo Walcott. They can't clear the ball, Moldova. Walcott goes for power. The goalkeeper makes a real hash of it, and as all good forwards should do, he's following in Ricky Lambert, and an easy finish for him.
And clearly onside too. Not a distinguished passage of play for Stanislav Nemashko in Moldova's goal. And Ricky Lambert could not miss, although he got it right into the corner from almost on the line. The smile for the Southampton man, the champion of late developers.
I was watching the goalkeeper in the warm-up before the game, made some brilliant saves. We're having a lot of shots and crosses into the penalty box, which he did brilliantly with.
Welbeck won't quite get that.
There's the variation. The passing through the middle of the pitch, then the long ball over the top for the runs of Walcott and Welbeck. Not so much for Lambert. He's going to just hold the line and try and bring others into play.
Cahill. Lampard. The problem with Ricky Lambert's got is Southampton have signed a new central striker. And concerns about how much he might hold down a regular place. And Walcott, who certainly knows he's in the Arsenal starting 11.
There's the
dangerous play.
Well, I think that's what some of the Moldovans were complaining about. His foot's that high. Defender turns his back on it. That's what led to the goal.
I looked straight at the referee, Stuart, as it happened, and he sort of spread his arms aside as if to say, no, I'm not having those appeals. And a few seconds later, Ricky Lambert had nodded England into a 2-0 lead.
I think he went to blow the whistle and he saw that Moldova were in possession and allowed almost Moldova to play on. It was a great advantage on the edge of their own penalty box. Jagielka won the ball back.
England can increase their goal tally and their confidence here.
As you said probably 15 minutes ago, as long as they play with that high tempo, they pass the ball quickly, they still do the right things, they make forward runs. Players like Jack Wilshere, when he gets an opportunity, runs with the ball.
When I say the confidence, you might think that's strange, but there is still an issue that some players are a little circumspect about answering the call to their country. They know they're in the spotlight, they know There's huge expectations from the supporters, although that is lessening, I must say, and giving them a better ride. The players. Ooh, and Walcott was certainly onside that time. Wilshere couldn't get it through to his Arsenal colleague.
The fullback took a really... Sorry, Martin, the fullback took a really big gamble then to try and close the ball down. It left the Walcott wide open. Jack Wilshere missed the fullback out.
The substitute, well read by Gerrard. All credit to Moldova to some extent for coming here and starting the game as if they wanted to play and not just dropping everyone behind the ball as maybe an Andorra would or a San Marino, but they're having to do a lot of chasing now. England enjoying themselves. Lovely play between Welbeck and Cole. And the Manchester United man who's proving to be a more consistent goal scorer for his country than for his club. Couldn't hit the target this time.
Lovely little 1-2 between those players. A good understanding. See what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend it into the far corner, using the defender to stop the view of the goalkeeper. Doesn't quite get it right. Satisfying so far. First 30 minutes for Roy Hodgson, particularly the scoreline.
Strong challenge by Bulgaru that's left Wilshere on the deck. To a speculative shot from Alexandru Antoniuk.
Here's the challenge, just miscontrols it, Jack Wilshere. He jumps into the challenge himself. Just takes a slight whack.
Does get bumped and bruised, but I think its natural game invites the opposition. Certainly in the second leg of the Champions League playoff match against Fenerbahce, there was a 10-minute spell towards the end where he was like a punch bag, really. In behind, they say Lambert can't chase those down, but he was moving pretty well then. Yes, header comes to naught. Gerrard. Wilshere in the angle, just blocked off in the nick of time for Moldova. Small republic between Romania and Ukraine, often labelled as the poorest European nation. Not sure whether that's an accurate tag or not, but Georgiev was certainly giving England a bit of a run for their money there in the shape of Jagielka.
Just had enough pace there, Jagielka. Played down the side, Jagielka. Steven Gerrard actually played the ball. Jagielka just had enough pace to play it onto the on-rushing midfield player.
Did look a push by Cahill.
That's one of the things he's got to learn, Cahill, at international football, any football. Sometimes he can be reckless, tries to win balls that he can't win. There was a question mark over him against Scotland, wasn't it, the way he was turned by Kenny Miller for the goal. Excellent turn by Miller, but didn't defend it particularly well, Cahill.
Ukraine are leading by 7 goals to 0 against San Marino. It's still 1-1 between Poland and Montenegro, which would be the result I think that England would want from that game. And both would drop 2 points, of course. All credit to the Moldovan fans, some of whom will have made the journey from their particular corner of Europe. See their team make something of this attack here. Oh, and it nearly deflected to Dedov from Sidorenko's shot.
He went the wrong way, didn't he, Sidorenko? He had runners out on his right-hand side. He turned away from them and didn't have a pass out to the left. That's why he went for the speculative shot. just been one or two moments against better sides. You just feel as though England could have been broken down. There was one a little while ago when Walcott got caught on the ball. Walker was high up the field and didn't make the most of the situation.
It is probably an issue looking at the lack of clean sheets for England.
Against the very best sides, would you play with Steven Gerrard as the holding midfield player? He's an excellent passer to watch. I'm not sure his defensive qualities are quite as good as they once were.
There have been a few games recently where England have needed to dig themselves out of a hole. You think 3-2 here against Scotland, 3-2 in the Euros against Sweden. But here they are playing what's in front of them. 123rd ranked nation in the world, joint 123rd to be totally accurate. It's an offside decision.
He's trying to make one or two forward runs from that right wing position. And Toniuk.
Here's the statesman-like figure of Moldovan football, Jon Karas. Armash did well, flicked on by Dedov. Cahill's across, Gerrard. Almost like a party atmosphere in the stadium. It's by no means a full house the supporters tonight, but still a buoyant atmosphere. Georgiev, Dedov.
Long pass from the wide player, Dedov. Sidorenko wanted it played into his feet, and that's exactly what he's telling the wide player. Into the feet and then join in.
Nice bit of nursing the ball by Lambert to make another angle again for Wilshere. Gerrard. Now Walker. A little bit of the tempo has dropped. Still 7 or 8 minutes to go to half-time. England leading with goals from Steven Gerrard and Ricky Lambert. 2 of the 30-plus brigade being used by Roy Hodgson tonight. 5 of them in all, but of course those 2 very much at different stages in their international careers. There's Lampard, another of the senior citizens. Wilshere gets it back again. Gets a free kick. Nika knocked him to the ground.
Strong challenge from the sub. It was there to be won. He was in with his studs showing, catches the top of the foot of Jack Wilshere.
Now this is interesting. Steven Gerrard has moved away, not offering himself his sort of range. But Frank Lampard, Gerrard's got to 20 England goals, Lampard needs 1 for 30.
Well, he uses a special technique, Frank Lampard, just not trying to hit too hard, he just hit through the back of the ball, it would dip and swerve through its flight. You want players going in on the knockdown, now he wants the ball touched to the side by the looks of it.
Just the set-up by Gerrard for Lampard. Get a bit more force into a moving ball. Walcott trying to win it back.
Just allowed the ball to get that much closer, didn't it? As soon as he touched it to the side, Steven Gerrard.
Moldova do have a national top division with 12 teams in it. Sheriff are the current leaders, and they'll play Tottenham in the Europa League group stage. It's Welbeck. Silkily done. it might have gone out for a goal kick before he claimed the corner. That was a tight call, one would suspect. The official on this side of the pitch looking beyond the goalpost to see it.
He just changed his mind a couple of times there, Welbeck. I think he was going to go for the shot to start with, the same one that he had a little while ago, trying to bend it into the far corner. He changed his mind, looked for the pass, and tried to go down the outside. All closed down for him by the time he'd made his decision.
Gerrard. Walker. Kneecap. Snuffing it out now is Greg Dyke, who's made a lot of headlines this week. He certainly brought a debate that was going on in the corridors of football into the real public domain. And he wants to be inclusive. He wants everyone to have a say about how the England setup can be improved. Wilshere. It's a bit of a tangle, but it's got England a free kick in favour of Ashley Cole. With 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go to half-time.
So Gerrard's going to bend this ball in. Hit it. It's around the penalty spot area. The England players running across the front of the goalkeeper. Cahill will be in there.
That's exactly what it is, but it's just overcooked, and Mashko knocking it out, allowing England to come back in again. Armash got rather fortunate. Got off with the throw, but from the wrong place.
He's had a pretty poor evening, hasn't he? This one he should be catching. There's no challenge on him. Doesn't get that much height and distance on it. He has to carry a bit of the blame for the Lambert goal. Yes, Walcott's shot had power, but it was a poor effort from him in the end.
Well, if you're going to knock it away and not catch it, you don't knock it there, do you? And Ricky Lambert stooped to conquer. Both his international goals have been headers. Here's Wilshere. Gerrard knew exactly where Cole was. Welbeck stopped by Armash. Here's Gerrard again. And that kind of burst forward. Doesn't do so often these days, either for club or for country. But when matches like this allow him maybe the luxury of not wondering too much about what's going on behind him, and you might see a few more of those. But you also, Stuart, might see him go off to be held back really for Tuesday night.
What he can do in that holding midfield role, he can then pick and choose the right times to go, as he did for the goal. He just supported the play there. It was the right time. He played the ball forward. Wilshere tried to play it back into him. He'll conserve that little bit of energy and make the right run at the right times. Oh, they're making a lot of wasted runs. Something that Frank Lampard has learnt over the years.
Here's Walcott. Walker wants it early. Walcott tried to find him. It's a dead off. Monica. Well, won by Ashley Cole. Yet having to play on the retreat. Coriano with a bit of space here found by Antoniuk. So Hart grateful for a little bit of work to do. With Ben Foster picking up an injury, who was perhaps the closest challenger to Joe Hart. There isn't a huge amount of experience backup for England in the goalkeeping department. Lampard. Nice turn by Wilshere. Offside. Tight one.
Oh, I'm not sure he was when the ball was played. It was brilliant from Jack Wilshere. That's what he does so well. He let the ball run across his body. He then saw the pass inside the fullback. It just didn't look offside when the ball was played. Maybe he was, just about. Just about.
And that's a booking for Danny Welbeck for kicking the ball away. And that means he is out of the game against Ukraine. Well, with England short of strikers, that's
and
not a great piece of news. No wonder he's angry about it.
Not sure who he's having a go at there.
No, whether he's having it. I think it is the fourth official rather than Welbeck himself.
You see Roy Hodgson get that animated on the side of the pitch.
Well, no Rooney, maybe no Sturridge, and now certainly no Welbeck.
That was a bit hard on him because the whistle only just went as he played the ball.
Gerrard. Lambert able to get it unattended. You know, he's a good passer of the ball. How good is that? It's very good. It's wonderful for Welbeck. Scored by Welbeck, but picked out by Ricky Lambert, and England lead 3-0.
Well, there were two excellent passes there. The first from Steven Gerrard. England deep in their own defending third. He played the ball through to Ricky Lambert, who got himself turned, and that's what we talked about Danny Welbeck doing. Look how deep he is when he makes the run. He's got pace. He makes the run in behind the fullback, he doesn't go with him, the centre-half doesn't see him, and he still had a lot to work to do, even though the goalkeeper, well, I'm not quite sure what he was doing, he was almost running out the way. Damasco, a really good first touch from Danny Welbeck, but the run and the pass made it, and a good third goal for England.
What a strange couple of minutes for Welbeck. He's out of the next game, but he scored in this game right on half-time to emphasise England's superiority. Welbeck, his head still spinning about the yellow card, and the goal hasn't really got rid of that disappointment. Lambert, having scored the second from close range, certainly made the third, and Steven Gerrard started it all off with a copybook strike from the edge of the penalty area. At half-time, England lead Moldova by 3-0. Spain's played in Moldova a year ago and scored his only international goal in that match with a deflected free kick. It emphasises again, Stuart, that England are well served at left back.
They certainly are. Baines is just as good as when he goes forward as Ashley Cole is. Just a question mark sometimes about his defending against the very best players. Certainly he's somebody that will get crosses in, and he will push Danny Welbeck infield so he can get forward and get crosses in.
There's no injury involved. It's a situation that Roy Hodgson probably feels that competition is the essence of success. That can be replicated throughout the squad, and any manager would be happy to have two top-class players for every position. England on the hunt for more. Already 3 goals safely bagged. Gerrard, Lambert and Welbeck. Wilshere making tracks towards the Moldovan goal. Lambert getting involved, and then Lampard.
Good start to the second half from England, made by Jack Wilshere's dynamic run to start with. Walcott made a run infield which allowed the space for Walker to burst down that right-hand side. Lampard had the vision to find him.
Cahill. Gielka to his Everton colleague Baines. This could be the first England group to go to a World Cup, should they get there. Not a huge amount of expectation on their shoulders. And, would certainly, you feel, be an advantage. Even Greg Dyke himself saying, well, no one expects us to do too much in the World Cup in 2014. The players do, you know. They won't be keeping those thoughts to themselves. Walcott, Armash in the way. Walker. It's a lovely take on the half-turn from Wilshere. We're not getting very far. There's another ball on to the right-hand side here with Georgiev. Nika, his substitute. Sidorenko was actually making a decent run towards the near post, but Cahill made sure he wasn't involved.
He just got his positioning right there, Cahill. It wasn't too far, it wasn't too deep, so the cutback was an obvious pass. He didn't need too much space between himself and the goalkeeper so he could get that right foot clearance.
Ukraine have warmed up to face England next Tuesday by beating San Marino 9-0. More than England managed in San Marino in March. Again raises the question about the tiny nations and their relevance for World Cup qualifying groups. From San Marino, make a cogent argument for what it brings to their football, certainly finance. That's never to be sniffed at. Lampard.
That's what Walcott does too often. He just runs away from the ball when the player receiving it hasn't actually got hold of it.
Sidorenko. Monika. Burian. Bit of controlled possession from Moldova. Bulgaru. Burianu. Touched by Gerrard, and got the pace to counter-attack here. Lampard. Walcott. Didn't quite come through for Lambert. A bit of a problem for Lampard. Picked himself up rather gingerly.
Real penetration is there, the passing of Moldova.
And slinging in the cross. They're unbeaten in their last 3 internationals, only one of which was a qualifier. It's not something that their football, in the 20-plus years now that they've been an independent state from the old Soviet Union, couldn't say that often. The run is clearly coming to an end here at Wembley tonight. Lambert, another lovely ball, and Welbeck is the beneficiary again. That's quite a combination. 4-0 England.
Well, that's what Lambert has done so well. Again, he comes off, finds that bit of space, deep of the back four. Welbeck times his run to perfection this time. And as he did against Swansea on the opening day of the season, he was on the other side then, just lifts it over the goal. It's a really composed, crafted finish from Danny Welbeck. There's the positional rotation. Lambert coming out to the left-hand side. There's the little diagonal run, certainly onside, and there's the little lift. Really good finish from Danny Welbeck. Timing and the weight of the pass from Lambert was excellent.
Well, there aren't that many midfield players who can pass the ball through like that, and Ricky Lambert, who brings goals as well as assists. And you just wonder, when he sits at home at night, whether he thinks, why didn't I get the act together a little bit earlier? He credits Alan Pardew, now the manager of Newcastle, who was the manager of Southampton, who really got in his ear and said, come on, you're a very good player, get yourself fit, believe in yourself. Well, he scored one here against Moldova tonight. It is against Moldova, we have to put it into context, and he's made 2. Wilshere. Lambert again. It's Baines to come and hit it, and he was on his way down Damasco, but he kept it out.
Well, I'm not quite sure that Ricky Lambert was trying to get it to Leighton Baines. I think he may have been trying to play it to Welbeck here. It certainly ended up being a good pass. Jack Wilshere again twisted and turning. Baines, rather than hitting it across the goalkeeper, just goes for power. Once again, not a particularly good effort from the goalkeeper.
The crowd scene in there, in the goal area. And corner again. Lampard let it run.
I think he hit it with his right foot, then tried to let it run across his body so he could wrap his left foot around it. Realised it was going out of play.
Such is Damasco's problems. That's England looking to exploit it at every opportunity. Offside. Welbeck.
What England have done quite well. They haven't got first to the cross that comes in. They've kept the ball in the danger area. Cahill was alert and alive to get back onto this one. Doesn't make the right sort of contact. And England kept it in there again. Danny Welbeck just offside on that occasion. Do well not to have a shot in those situations now, wouldn't he? They'd already been booked.
Well, the sequence could be on, Stuart. 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. England 3 results against Moldova. 2/3 of the way to 6 for Roy Hodgson. Remember, Moldova have only conceded 6 goals in their 6 previous qualifiers, having been demolished by England 5-0 in Moldova a year ago, virtually to the day. By Monica. Dedov will certainly have a go down that left-hand side. Sidorenko, advantage played. He did foul Lampard. Jagielka. Real chance for Danny Welbeck to get a first England hat-trick. Wilshere. Lambert won't get there.
Just made the wrong run on that occasion, Ricky Lambert.
Tuniuk. Sidorenko still going for Moldova. And in the end he was in a maze which he couldn't extricate himself from.
Well, England got away with that one because the ball could have been played much earlier.
Georgiev. Effort by Dedov again.
A couple of poor decisions by the centre-halves on that occasion when the ball was just about to be played through. They tried to step up for offside. It didn't give Walker a chance. He was on the far side. He was running back to get into a good defensive position, and suddenly they stepped up on him. Had the ball been played earlier, Sidorenko would have been in.
But Wayne Rooney is sitting and watching, thinking, I wish I'd been out there, been fit to play and get more international goals. And this is Walcott through the centre, Welbeck. Just lost his footing. No appeals from Danny Welbeck, and to be careful not to be seen to be going to ground too easily. Being down to 10 men wouldn't harm England too much in these circumstances. Bulgaru with the switch of play. Here's Gerrard. be a second Moldovan change. And Ionitsa had to go off in the first half through injury, with Onika coming on.
She's just got to be a little bit careful. Can rise to the bait when people start to put him under a little bit of pressure.
Off goes Bulgaru. He looked a bit fish out of water playing in midfield. He's one of the most technical and talented players that Moldova have in Alexandru Suvorov. It's a bit of a surprise that he wasn't in the starting lineup. If anything, it will make them perhaps a little bit more open.
He's the third player to play in that role behind the main striker, Sidorenko, in this game. Suvorov plays the second striker, or the furthest forward midfield player.
And he's probably the most suited to it, to be honest. Going into tackle there is Suvorov, Dedov, Sidorenko. They're doing enough to keep England on their toes at the back. Still more than half an hour to go. And England are going to give a debut to Ross Barkley of Everton. Nice circumstances in which to make your England debut. Team 4 up with half an hour plus to play. It's only this season really that Ross Barkley's got himself into the Everton team, and of course that's under new management. Roberto Martinez has already scored a Premier League goal, and a fine one it was, away to Norwich City.
He's playing much higher up the field than he did whenever I saw him play under David Moyes. Very advanced midfield role, a creator, that likes to run with the ball, get shots away. Everton keep producing them.
There's Jack Wilshere, who goes off. So a teenage debut. Ross Barkley will go straight into Wilshere's position. Has got plenty of senior men around him just to bed him in here. He's certainly got the talent. And again, for the talk of no English player, not enough English players in the Premier League. Well, Barkley now is a starter for Everton. They'll play Chelsea a week tomorrow. Yeah, a good test of how far he's come in terms of league football.
He was talked about for quite some while, wasn't he? Barkley has been one of the best youngsters in the country. He's able to quite show that in the summer for the England junior side at the Under-20 World Cup.
Although they're still, from time to time, trying to put a few triangles together. They're struggling to get into the attacking third. Jagielka, Lampard, Barkley. Flipped forward by Baines. They want the goalkeeper to come, and he wasn't too keen to do so. And Purianu is really giving him a flea in his ear, and Damasco, the goalkeeper, concentrating on his own game now. Play it from the back. Suvorov.
No forward runners. One thing they do lack a few things, Moldova, but haven't really got any athletic players that are going to run in behind and cause problems on the counter. They've had opportunities to counter-attack, but because they haven't had enough pace, the moves have just dwindled. It's been easy for England to get back into good positions and defend it.
Suvorov, example of his technique there. Baldian. England can counter-attack from here. Moldova were aware of that. With a tactical foul on Lampard.
He's made a few tackles as well since he's been on, number 4.
Interesting ball that from Gerrard. Walcott got here. Turning it back to head it away. Only to Gerrard. Still got off. He's rightly confident of his ability on the ball. Played against England wide on the right-hand side in the game in Moldova. He's taken off at half-time. It's a little bit of a luxury against the bigger nations, and he had the chance to go for a 1-2 there. Antonio stayed down after a challenge which wasn't penalised. Welbeck. He can put Kyle Walker well forward here. Lampard does just that. Lambert in the middle, Walcott in the middle, Welbeck in the middle. Walker runs into trouble.
He didn't do enough there, Walker. Defender stood in the space so he couldn't go down the line, and then didn't have the ability when he came infield to get the cross in or find the next pass.
England, remember, have a double header at home in the October international break to wrap up the group. Montenegro and Poland play here. Well, I'm sure both provide stiffer opposition. And it's just over, and the hunt for the hat-trick for Welbeck.
I think it's a good job that it went to Welbeck. Ricky Lambert may have just been offside when the ball was played. Welbeck jumping early, he is decent in the air. Often talk about it. Another good delivery from Steven Gerrard, bending it into the space.
More to encourage the manager and more encouragement back from Roy Hodgson to Danny Welbeck. It's just that Roy Hodgson went to the 4th official when that booking came for Welbeck. Gary Neville, I think, was with the referees. They went down the tunnel at half-time, I'm sure, on the same subject. John Carras probably wondering about what the final score might be here. Another advantage England should have is the Premier League speed and stamina right through the 90 minutes. It's been a challenging evening physically for the Moldovans. And there's still 25 minutes plus to go.
That was a bit lazy there from Ricky Lambert. Get his body in a good position. But that's better movement from Sidorenko. Yes, he's just caught offside, but he was threatening the back of Cahill. Absolutely right, the player that's come on, Sidorov, is starting to pick out some passes. He's looking to threaten the back of Cahill and Jagielka. He just about gets back Cahill, despite Sidorenko being a fraction offside.
And come forward again. Lampard. Barkley. Can make himself available. So with that last attack, his touch took him into trouble. Moldova looking to try and leave Wembley, at least with a goal to their name. It's perhaps not the way they are going to get it, but was ambitious. It's a fault on the right side from Dedov.
Yeah, I think Sidorenko had made another run, little diagonal run. He wasn't too pleased that the shot came in.
Well, they're dancing because the shot came in. Enjoying their evening in England's National Stadium. Lampard. Walcott. Armash cuts it out. Sidorenko. He's quite clever with his work. It's a tough old ask, isn't it? Being the one main striker when you're playing for Moldova against a country ranked more than 100 places higher.
He's had to do a lot of running as well. He's tried to work the defenders. Unfortunately, he hasn't got that extra yard of pace. He has made good runs. You think he's going to get away. It doesn't quite happen for him.
By Barkley, just as you were speaking, Stuart, Sidorenko, a lovely piece of work right down on the touchline beneath us, and it didn't quite come off for him, but you can imagine against better opposition. I have to say, he has scored 3 in the last 3 games, and the highest Moldovan score of all time is about 11, so he's certainly doing a job. Ricky Lambert's job might be coming to an end for the evening. What a good job it has been. Here's again. And mindful, of course, of Welbeck's suspension and the possibility that Sturridge might not make it. Lambert. It's a lovely turn. It's yet another pass for Welbeck.
He makes it all look so simple, doesn't he, Lambert? It's an easy turn, turns away. He just passes a straight ball for the diagonal run of Welbeck. On that occasion, it was good defending from Koleanu.
What Welbeck has got is a long body and short legs, so for a tall man he's got a lower centre of gravity, and it really helps. Might be his last chance to bag another goal for England. He's right in there. Last chance to bag another goal for England in this game, I mean.
Goalkeeper once again not looking particularly assured. Namasco.
Welbeck this time. Touch has taken him wide. He might be looking for some support. He's got it from Leighton Baines here. Welbeck again, as he was taken out from behind. England have kept the ball. Welbeck's on his feet, no damage done. Barkley. Encouraging Gerrard to shoot, but instead he tries a little clip. Suvorov again showing all the extra natural talent compared to some of his countrymen. Having said that, plays one of the poorer passes of the evening.
And then blame somebody else for it. James Milner, about to come on.
Here's Ricky Lambert's number. It's up, but what a night he's had. This was the goal, but it's his passing that's really caught the eye. They both scored by Welbeck. And the happy story goes on for Lambert. James Milner, who is a man of many parts for England. Come out on the left-hand side. Welbeck through the middle now.
And there he gets congratulations from the likes of Jack Wilshere and Gary Lewin. Ashley Cole certainly deserves it. Good performance from the Southampton man.
Well, he probably won't get man of the match if Welbeck goes on to score another goal, but he's certainly shown again what talent has been lying there unfulfilled for much of his career.
Now from Theo Walcott on the left back. Levatenko.
I've seen players booked for that.
In the first half, Theo Walcott was waving his arms around, saying that Levatenko should have been booked.
Yeah, I think the Slovakian referee probably just Walcott aware that there won't be another without any card being shown. Ten minutes to go in Poland. Poland 1, Montenegro 1. We've already missed the earlier news. Beat San Marino by 9 goals to 0. And 4 up here going into the last 20 minutes. With their substitutes used now. Baines. Milner being 2 of them. Yeah, it's either a free kick to Moldova or throw to England.
Throw to England it is. Tempo's just dropped from England in this last 10-15 minutes or so. Unsurprisingly so.
Suffles for the corner, and the pressure will be put on Nemashko again. One that Woodfield. Welbeck already in the goal area. Cahill joining him.
When it's from this side, England put 3 players almost on the line, or in the 6-yard box, just to stop the goalkeeper coming for it. I'm not sure they need to stop him coming for it. He's dropped most things.
Yeah, and in doing that, of course, you increase the risk of the referee saying, well, you're going in there to block him. Jagielka needs to be a little bit more subtle, if that's what he's told to do by the coaching staff. Might be caught a little bit square, and Sidorenko had made a good run. He's not given up the chance of getting his country's first goal against England.
Cahill has to concentrate. That's one long ball, 60 yards. Not caught underneath it, didn't react quickly enough. Centre forward Sidorenko could have been in.
Gary Cahill, of course, has been talking about his culpability to the second Scotland goal here, and Kenny Miller turned him this way and that. Caught out the Chelsea and England centre-back.
A lot of good qualities, Gary Cahill. Just think he can at times lose concentration, make the wrong decision.
Trying to fasten onto the back flick from Sidorenko. Gerrard. Barkley. Go it himself. He's not far away.
Good movement from Barkley, also well found by Steven Gerrard. Just runs off his midfield player, takes the touch across the centre half, and once he opens up the goal for himself, I feel as though he's going to hit the target. And it just takes, looks like a slight deflection off the defender, not given. There it comes, there's the deflection off the captain, Deleanu. What a start that would have been for Barkley.
Yeah, the spelling's different, but the sponsors of the Premier League will be pleased to have him performing regularly, upping his profile.
If they have their way, they may even change the spelling.
Easier to change his than the banking firm that we're referring to. Brought out by Jagielka. Baines. Lampard. Milner. England in total control.
It's one area you just think England could be slightly better. When Jagielka, they'd switched the play from that right-hand side into Jagielka. He probably had 20, 30 yards to run into. If he'd have run forward with the ball, then the next pass would have been into the back players of Moldova. In the end, he plays it out to Baines. It takes 3 or 4 more passes.
Welbeck. Oh, the goalkeeper again has an iffy moment, but Danny Welbeck doesn't get the better of him for a third time.
Well,
Not yet.
Well, that time he's trying to bend it with his left foot into the opposite corner. Well, Walcott makes a run off of him, but he starts it too close to the goalkeeper. Again, takes his eyes off of it.
Again, it's a chance for Jagielka to step forward, but he gives it ball under responsibility to Gerrard. I say for Ross Barkley, it's a great time to come on, isn't it? England in total control, and he's got energy, he's got movement.
He's actually been allowed to play almost as a second centre forward.
Here's the main centre forward, Welbeck. Baines. Sidorenko. Might have been offside, but Tiger stayed down, dead off. Walker just threw too much muscle, really, for the Moldovan.
Suvorov had to rush his pass. Had he got it along the ground, been in there dead off. And he just caught a little bit square, right on the halfway line. He relates the ball away there, doesn't he? He's controlled it to start with, but just got his body in the way.
Here's Baines. Defending in numbers, but leaves them short when the ball comes out. Gerrard, who started the scoring off, of course. Walker, great angle for the cross this time. Armash away. Lampard! Well, that looked like it had number 30 for England written all over it.
Well, you knew he was going to get the strike away. Does it take a deflection? Headed out here, good first touch from Lampard. I'm not sure it does take a deflection. He almost dives beyond it. Look from this angle. Well, he certainly does. He puts some bend on it. The goalkeeper's diving past it and then just throws out his left leg right at the last minute.
Figured out by Armash. Baines has stayed back. Jagielka. It's easy pickings in most parts of the pitch now for England. But, scoring a goal in whatever circumstances still remains the hardest part of a football match. I'm sure England will make plenty of chances in the 10 minutes or so that remain. We'll see. They can at least equal the 5 that they got in Moldova. Cahill.
2 or 3 times now that Barkley's just miscontrolled it when it's come into him. I'm not sure he needs to go back. Cahill's got lots of time on the ball. Rather than go back towards it, he could be running away, allowing the ball to be played into Welbeck and going and joining him from there. Just closed everything down, the Everton midfield player.
Suvorov. Antoniuk's done well until it came to trying to find Boldian. Can't fault Moldova for effort, and indeed for their contribution's the wrong word, but for the fact that they haven't come here just to shut up shop and try and keep the score down. Given Cahill and Jagielka, it's an occasional awkward moment. So I'm sure the England coaching staff will take the opportunity to look at, and they're going to get much more to do in Kiev on Tuesday. And here comes Walker to Walcott. Plenty of pace, backing up the players, the skipper, in by Gerrard. Oh, and it was a chance, really. Get a decent contact on that, and the pace on the cross would do the rest.
Good run as well from Welbeck. He knew that Gerrard was going to hit this in first time. There he makes a run across the centre half. Is it slightly behind him? It's a good delivery. He's got to make better contact. It's the perfect delivery, in fact. Just comes off his shoulder in the end. He knows that was a chance. I was saying he was a good header of the ball as well, wasn't he? 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Score with a header against Scotland. There's Milner. Some shrewd play. It's Walcott flying in. Suvorov. Got the skill to manoeuvre a position and didn't really have a pass on.
He also didn't quite have the pace, did he? Because once he'd beaten Jagielka, a top-class player with pace would have then run beyond him, and that would have been a dangerous moment.
Barkley. Welbeck. Walcott. Kyle Walker of Tottenham. Now Gerrard. Mika. Dead off. Suvorov. Dead off keeping going until he's just run out of puff. It's been a tough evening and we've been trying to counter-attack. And just scraps the feed on. Every now and then, dead off. Sidorenko, Suvorov since he's been on. Just off a glimmer for Moldova. But it's defending. And, Puriano and Armash have certainly not looked outclassed by England. The goalkeeper really has had a pretty tough time, and some of England's finishing has been very sweet.
I think the key to it was that England scored that fairly early goal by Steven Gerrard. Just took the pressure off, the confidence out of Moldova, who had started the game quite well.
Suvorov. And not just quickness of movement, quite quick enough of thought there. Again, an England player, it was Gerrard that time, got back at him.
The 6th or 7th foul that substitute number 4, Luka, has made.
The last change for Moldova sees the introduction of Alexander Pashenko for Sergei Gorgiev. Pashenko does play for Sheriff, the club that are going to face English opposition in the Europa League, Tottenham. Will be happy with the news from Warsaw, Stuart. The final score: Poland 1, Montenegro 1.
Very good result for England. It's been one of the better groups in recent qualifying tournaments. Still unsure who's going to get through.
Ball from Gerrard to Welbeck. Here's Walker. Gerrard trying to put it on a plate for Welbeck. And it's thrashed from a fairly acute angle, off target, too high from Kyle Walker.
Well, it was the right technique to use. He's in between his feet here, Kyle Walker. He tries to hit it with the outside of his right boot into the top corner. Just gets too much height on it. Fortunate that it falls to him. You see, he just cuts across it with the outside of his right boot, putting that swerve on the ball.
He was telling me a couple of weeks ago he wants to score more for club, obviously the country as well. Gets into really good advanced positions. Big season for him. Glenn Johnson out injured. Phil Jones, another candidate to play at right back, also dropped out of this squad.
It's fair to say that Walker, having had a great season at Tottenham 2 seasons ago, last year didn't have quite the same effect. 1 or 2 mistakes.
Jagielka. Welbeck coming short. Too extravagant. Breaks though for Baines. Barkley. Moldova set up to try and stop England pouncing for a fifth time. Lampard. Toniuk gets it away. It's going to come straight back at Moldova again. Sedinenko, to his credit, still trying to work for the cause. Gerrard. Baines has found space, but he's offside.
He made his run a little bit too early there. Didn't need to. Plenty of space to run into. Steven Gerrard just maybe took a little bit too long, although he's not offside, as you see there, when the ball's played. Level at the centre half. Armash. He certainly had a good game, Steven Gerrard. He started it off with the goal. He's played in that holding role. Stepped in between his two centre halves to be the playmaker. One or two good tackles in as well.
He's played the whole game, hasn't he? So, which he doesn't always do for England. Indication he's got a regime at Liverpool now. He's very happy in his club football under Brendan Rodgers.
Well, he's playing next to Lucas and other people to make those forward runs, but he does pick the right time to get forward. But Lucas and him have got a good partnership in the centre of that midfield at Liverpool at the moment.
Coming here fresh from beating Manchester United, which Liverpool players always enjoy. Probably got a passing mention with the United players in the squad. Toniuk and Moldova have a corner in the 89th minute. This splendid setting, not full tonight, crowd of just over 60,000. Silverhoff takes. Oh, and a chance for Armash to get Moldova's first goal against England.
Yeah, he just got too much on it. He was aware because he'd made the run firstly to come to the near post, then when it comes back in he reacts well. Cahill doesn't quite get tight enough, has to dive in right at the end of it. He adjusted his body well there. A good night for this man, Roy Hodgson. Thoughts will now be to Ukraine.
Yes, I'm sure he will have heard the Poland-Montenegro score. Barkley. We've stressed earlier in the evening, but not recently, in case you've only just joined us, the booking for Danny Welbeck before he scored the first of his 2 goals tonight. It's the only really black spot in England's performance, because he will be missing, unavailable because of suspension, in the game in Kiev on Tuesday, at a time when England are without Wayne Rooney and possibly Daniel Sturridge. Just 2 added minutes. Gerrard. And Barkley. Welbeck is there. Quite comfortable in wide situations as well, as he finds himself here. Walker.
And he gets a bit lucky here. Defender had read exactly what he was going to try and do. His pace and strength got him through. Tumbled to the ground. Maybe one last chance for England to whip this ball into the danger area. Gerrard going out there to take it. He hasn't covered himself in glory. Mashko.
You almost feel policy would be to put it at the goalkeeper and let him set it up. Unwittingly, it would be, of course. And he's looked a very weak link. And England pressurising him right to the very end here. Stanislav Nemashko.
A lot of space for the cutback here if England work it well. Lampard will be the target.
Well, they worked it very well for Milner, whose only England goal was in Moldova a year ago. Be pleased with the routine, but not the finish.
Watch Lampard's run there, you see, and then Milner just comes round the back, leaning back, doesn't make the right sort of contact. The way the movement was, I'm not sure the actual cross was meant for Milner. It looked as though it was from Gerrard, but the movement was, everything was set up for the cutback for Lampard to hit it with his right foot.
Final thoughts, Stuart, on England doing the job here?
They started the game well enough. They got the early goal, and from that moment on, there was never going to be any danger of losing the game. They played with enough tempo, and they deserved to win by at least 4 goals to 0.
4 it is, 2 for Welbeck, and a suspension, unfortunately for him. Steven Gerrard started it off with a classic strike from the edge of the penalty area. Ricky Lambert scored the second, made the 2 for Welbeck, and certainly enhanced his fledgling international credentials. But the good news from England's point of view also that Poland and Montenegro have drawn. England have got their 3 points with 4 goals. England 4, Moldova 0.